Hi, I'm Dr. Bob with Carolina Area Pet Care. Thank you for joining us today. Today I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know about cat allergies. I'm going to be guided here by my lovely team member here, Shelly. She's going to be asking some questions, and hopefully you'll get some good content out of this to help your kitties.
Dr. Bob, what are some common cat allergies?
With cat allergies, there are generally three different types of cat allergies that we see, and I would have to say the most common one are flea allergies. Second most common would probably be food allergies, and the last one would be more of a seasonal / environmental allergies.
How do allergies impact the health and well-being of my cat?
For anybody who's ever experienced allergies themselves or had dogs with allergies, you know your cats can suffer just as much. The problem is we see kitties coming in that are just biting, scratching, licking, itching, chewing, and these cats are miserable. Now, a lot of times, most kitty owners actually never see their cats like doing the biting, scratching, licking, itching, chewing, but they see the sores and they feel the sores. I mean, they can feel them all the way from the back of the neck all the way down to the base of their tail, and you can just feel, and they just feel like little, just scabs all over the place. You know those cats are really, really miserable. But cats are kind of unique compared to dogs. We know that, but one way they're unique is cats are very private about their sort of grooming habits or their chewing habits. Dogs are very public about it. They want everybody to see it. But cats, they will, a lot of people never see, not a lot of cat owners actually never see their cats actually licking and grooming themselves successfully. Maybe some routine cleaning, but yeah, God bless them. These cats are really, really miserable with sores and and then you roll them over and look at their belly and they're just raw and they're just ripping their hair out. Yeah, so those cats are pretty miserable.
What preventive care can I provide my cat to help avoid allergies?
Really depends on what the source of the allergy is. If it's fleas, and I will talk a little bit about fleas in the context of cats because it's quite a bit different from dogs. The first is getting them on a good quality flea medication, and please don't buy the crap that you're going to get at the big box stores or pet stores. They're using an old 30-year-old product that hasn't worked in years. We've got about 3 or 4 different products that we commonly use for cats and do a great job for controlling fleas. But here's the interesting thing about fleas. Think about what cats do. They basically do 3 things. They sleep, they eat, they groom themselves a lot. They actually have a grooming ritual about them. Dogs do not. But cats are constantly grooming themselves. So there was an experiment done, literally about 30, 35 years ago, where they took cats, put them in a carrier, or put them in this like a container individually, and they put 100 fleas in each container. Within an hour, they went back to count how many fleas were actually still present that they could find on the cats. On average, they found 3 out of 100. What happened over the course of the hour with the other 97? The cats ingested them because cats are constantly grooming themselves. Now, dogs will bite and scratch and lick and chew where they get a flea bite, but cats are actually trying to hunt down the fleas for the most part, so they'll ingest them. So a lot of people never actually see a flea on their cat. But if we do see a cat coming in with the hair loss, so particularly above the tail or on the belly, or where they got the scabs all the way up to the neck, we always assume first that it is a flea allergy, in which case obviously we want to use an appropriate flea medication to get rid of the fleas. Otherwise, for those cats, I will typically use a form of cortisone. Now, the good news is cats are relatively tolerant of cortisone. Obviously, we don't want to abuse the product, but they're more tolerant of it than dogs and people. So if I give a cortisone shot and we get them on some flea medication, gosh, these cats are feeling so much better within just a few days.
What are some signs and symptoms that my cat may have allergies?
Quite simply, cats that have sores on them, where they have the scabs that we've described here, and typically around from literally the back of the neck all the way to the base of the tail. Sometimes you'll see it on the belly. But there's another part of the body which would actually lead me to think of a food allergy, and that's a cat that's kind of ripping their face, ripping their neck, ripping at their ears. Now, if I see a cat with an ear problem, obviously we're going to look for ear mites, but only if they're going to be an outside cat. And we do have products, the same products we use for fleas for cats also do take care of ear mites. So if you are using one of our flea products for cats, you won't have an ear mite problem. But yeah, that's one of the considerations with a food allergy. It's primarily limited, I won't say just limited, but it's primarily going to be associated with the neck, the face, around the ears, and obviously we need to change the diet for those kitties.
Why is it important to avoid self-diagnosing allergies in my cat?
All right, there we go, Dr. Google. There's nothing wrong with self-diagnosing, but then what are you going to do with that information? First, we get so many people say, well, you know, I think it's this, so I'm going to do this. Well, yeah, that may or may not be the most prudent thing to do for your cat. First, recognize if you think your cat has allergies in the first place, and if you're not comfortable trying to do anything, great. That's what we're here for. You know, let us make the diagnosis. Let us do what we feel is going to be in the best interest of trying to help your cat. I am fine if somebody has a suspicion of what they think is going on, because that means that they care enough to be paying attention to what their cat's doing. And that is a big part of making the diagnosis, is having a pet or cat owner or dog owner paying attention to what their cats or dogs are doing, and you know, how long has this been going on, or what are they doing? Have they tried anything at home to try to give their cats or dogs relief from the allergies? But yeah, by all means, I don't have any problem with somebody trying to self-diagnose, but then what are you going to do with that information?
How will a veterinarian diagnose whether or not my cat has allergies?
Yeah, along the same lines, most of that diagnosis comes from information we're getting from the kitty owner. So if the kitty parent is really tuned into the cat and they notice, well, he just started doing this about a couple of weeks ago, and he's done the same thing the last 3 years around the same time, yeah, that's extremely valuable information. That would tell me, yes, we got a seasonal issue going on. If you happen to see that there are some fleas, or you see even like one flea, that's all the information we need. That's all the sort of diagnostics we need to figure out what's going on and what we need to do based on that. But the big thing first, we need to make sure that the more attentive and the more information we can get from our pet parents, the better we can assist in trying to help your pet.
What are some of the most common cat allergies?
Yeah, I think we mentioned them. Food allergies, seasonal allergies, and flea allergies are the big three that I see in cats above all else.
What types of treatments can be used to relieve the symptoms of a cat that is suffering from allergies?
Again, to get back to depending on what the source of the allergy is. If we think it's fleas, then obviously we're going to do two things to get them on an appropriate and an effective flea product. And let me emphasize effective, because again, as I've mentioned, there's so much junk out there still in the market that people still buy, but guess what? It doesn't work that well. So if it's fleas, we're going to get them on an appropriate and effective flea product, and what I like to use is a form of cortisone to give those cats relief right away. And then again, we just need to make sure that we don't continue to get a flea infestation. If it's a seasonal issue, then in many cases, again, we will use cortisone for those cats as well. And I'll recommend frequent wiping your kitties down, trying to remove any pollens or dust that are getting onto your cats, and just wiping them down with a washcloth and cool water. Cats obviously are pretty effective at cleaning themselves, but this is just an added sort of a benefit of just trying to keep them as sort of dust and pollen free as possible. When it comes to food allergies, again, we have to have a discussion. First, find out what is your kitty eating. We know the primary triggers for food allergies in cats. In short, fish, dairy, and beef account for about 80% of all food allergies in cats. Now, they can be allergic to anything, but those account for the majority of the food allergies. And if your cat's eating any one of those three, then obviously we're going to switch to a different diet. Makes it a little bit trickier if you've got a multi-cat household and you've got lots of cats and they're all eating the same thing, and then you've got to switch with one cat, but that's something we can always find a workaround for that. So again, it really depends on what's the cause. That's going to determine what we're going to do to try to help your kitty.
How effective are treatments for cats suffering from allergies?
Extremely, yeah. So we have great success with the medications that we use. Again, getting back to whether a dietary change for cats with food allergies, a cortisone shot and flea medications for those cats with flea allergies, and those cats that have seasonal allergies. Again, in many cases, we'll use cortisone for those cats as well. So while we can't cure the problems, a lot of these we can prevent, but we can certainly treat and manage effectively any of the problems that we see with your cat's allergies. So hopefully that'll give you some good insights to allergies in general for cats and give you better understanding, so you don't have to go to Dr. Google. Just come to CarolinaValuePetCare.com, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.